What's poppin', dogs? Mr. Allen here working with some exponents in this video. We got to evaluate each one of these without the use of a calculator, all right? So we got to do it all in the cabeza. Let's do the first one here. We got -2 to the third power. Well, what's 2 to the third power? That's 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8. Now, if we've got a -2 to the third power, that would be a negative times a negative, which is a positive, times a negative, which makes it negative once again. So I have -8 for my answer. If it helps, you could always write this out as -2 times -2 times -2 and do it like a step at a time, okay? Because the -2 is in parentheses, the entire thing gets raised to the third power. Now, for this one, it doesn't really matter if we had parentheses or not. Like, I would get the same thing if I did -2 to the third. I would still get -8. But that is not true when we have an even power. Check it out. For this one, I have -2 to the fourth power. Well, -2 times -2 is +4, times -2 is -8, like we had here, but times -2 again, and I get +16. So for this one, I'm going to get +16. Now, like I said, if I had -2 to the fourth power, that's like saying 2 to the fourth, which is 16, and then making it negative. This would be -16. Okay, so a little sidebar here. For this one, that's my answer, but if it looks like that, I'm going to get -16, okay? Sound good? So there is a little bit of subtleties here. Be careful with them. Pay attention to the parentheses and what's actually being raised to my exponent, okay? Isn't that right, Hallie? Hallie is right over here. She wants to visit for this video. You want to come up in the video? Come here. She's getting bigger. This is Hallie. What's up? You like exponents? You like raising things to a power? Yeah? Okay, I'll let you go hang out. Ugh. Back to the math. Okay, so we got, let's see here, 3/5 to the second power. Okay. So the way you handle these is actually, it looks scary because it's a fraction, but really this just gets applied to both. So I'm going to have 3 squared, which is 9, or we can rewrite it if you'd like. 3 squared. Hallie's jumping up here. Hello, can you see your paws? Hi. Okay, I got to do some math, all right? So we got 3 squared, which is 9, and I got 5 squared, which is 25, so we'll have 9 over 25, which cannot be simplified. Final answer on that one, no big deal, okay? So fractions seem scary, not too bad. It's like you just got to do 2 of the same problem in one problem. It's like double the fun, double the math fun. But this guy over here, interesting, okay? So I want you to think about first as 3 squared, which we know is 9. So what's 0.3 squared? Well, because we have a decimal, okay, so 1/10, it's 0.3 times 0.3. I want to rewrite this, 0.3 times 0.3. We can still think about that 3 times 3 is 9, but because there's 1 decimal place here and 1 decimal place here, I end up with 2 decimal places altogether, so it's 0.09. Interesting, okay? So it's not just 0.9, it would be 0.09. And if you're like, why? I need more information here, sir. I need a little more before I buy into this, okay? Well, let's think about this. 0.3 is the same as saying like 3/10, okay? And if I did 3/10 times 3/10, if you remember how to multiply fractions, 3 times 3 is 9, 10 times 10 is 100. You multiply across. 9 over 100 is 0.09, whereas 0.9 would have been 90 over 100, okay? So that's a justification for it, but when you are multiplying with decimals, just know if you have 1 decimal place times 1 decimal place, I end up with 2 decimal places, and then I can multiply the numbers how they are, okay? So there we go for that one, without a calculator. I think that's the scariest one, honestly. How about over here? We got 3 to the -3rd, negative exponents, and I got a doozy right here to finish it off. Okay, negative exponents do not make negative numbers. Remember that. Negative exponents don't make negative numbers. If you have negative numbers, they could be staying negative. They could go to positive, pending the exponent. But negative exponents don't make negative numbers. They make reciprocals. Okay, so this is the same as saying 1 over 3 to the third power. So a negative exponent, I can bring it down to the denominator. This is kind of like over 1 right here. I can bring all this to the denominator, and it becomes a positive exponent. Now I just deal with it as if it were a positive exponent. So I'm going to have 1 over, what's 3 cubed? It's not 9. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So I get 1 over 27. All right, so negative exponents Think about it, they give us like fractions. They do the reciprocal of that, okay? They do not make negative numbers. So many people mess that thing up. Even some of the most advanced people in AP pre-calculus and AP calculus are like, negative number? No. No. All right. Last one over here. I'm going to switch to blue, just completely change the color scheme up. Actually, no, that's going to bother me. We'll go 3 pinks, 3 greens, I think, so I'll stay with green. Okay, fraction and a negative exponent. Little combo mambo here. Well, first off, we said negative exponents, you could move this down here. It gives us the reciprocal, essentially, right? The answer for 3 to the third is 27, but 3 to the negative third is 1 over 27. So let's do the reciprocal. I can flip the inside here to 3/4, and now it's just 3/4, squared. Okay? That looks like a 2, almost. So I flip the inside, make it a positive exponent. Now I can do what I did up here. 3 squared, that's just 9. 4 squared, that's just 16. Good to go. Final answer. So there we go, guys. Hopefully that helps with dealing with exponents and evaluating without a calculator. I know it's scary, but you can do it. I believe in you. If you guys have any questions or are looking for different types of videos or whatever, pop it in the comments. Happy to help. Have a great day, guys, and thanks for watching.